your new Toyota Starlet Cross. Own it.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiski Times, .co.za. It's Kaizer Chiefs 0. Golden Arrows 1 in the Premiership. Mediocre team that wins sometimes, loses sometimes, and draws sometimes. And that's pretty much going to be the story of the season for Kaizer Chiefs. Fortunately for them, they are playing in a very poor football league. Therefore, they find themselves in the upper table, although yesterday or the day before yesterday, they were number 12 in the log. So they win sometimes, they lose sometimes, and they draw sometimes. Today, they lost courtesy to a goal from Ugletwin Shitolo. Golden Arrows, not a good game for them. Poor. They are a mediocre football team, even they themselves. But anyways, there was a winner in this game. So well done to the winner, although it wasn't a good game. Lindo Pep, my analyst, what did you make of the game, sir?
How are you, Mr. Nkeo?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. Shapunja chasta ngibulise the little Napoleon.
Yes, sir.
Ngibulise Bobo Cardoso, ngibulise Autiamu Chunyakanya Kohl. Yankulego, congratulations to Pilankulu, Coach Pilankulu, Kagiso Dikasho, of course. Nomtana Mato, Nimbona Kene grounding. She was so excited.
Oh yeah, sometimes she does.
Yeah, and then congratulations as well to Given Shitol. I think he played
exceptionally. They gave him a man of the match.
Yeah, man of the match. I think Nkulego, they defended absolutely well. I think Kaizer Chiefs played to their strength, more especially about Shitolo. I think too many long balls in my opinion. But let's calling a Golden Arrows. I think it's a match Nkulego that played ascent. I think if I check on your heat map, but if you can look at the heat map, it probably it's 60-30 or something like that. Nothing much in between the two boxes in my opinion. Golden Arrows, it well-deserved win in my opinion. I think they had the better opportunities. You look at the fact that I think they could have scored in the first half as well. You're looking at the Chiefs in my opinion. They're bringing in Odi Tlokwe, who there's no balance in the Kaizer Chiefs setup. You look at that left-hand side, there's no balance, no cross as well. I think Cross Nkulego is fed up as well to play for Kaizer Chiefs. When you watch him play, it seems like himself, he doesn't want to play for Kaizer Chiefs anymore.
I don't think it's fed up more than just it's a crisis of confidence. Because we spoke about it midweek. We am keeper manje, we am bulale ngqondweni, uzomdinga. Well, he needed him today, and he needed a player that had damaged himself. But then as a coach, you are in a difficult position. If he's making mistakes during a game, you have to take him out. And they had to take him out there. They turned that game around. They came back and they won 2-1. Today, but then there's still that lingering factor of you took him out and he was crying. Almost you humiliated him publicly. Now you need him to play on the weekend, and it shows today.
Yeah, Nkulego, I think Golden Arrows as well, you have to mention that they created the better opportunities. Nali free kick could have scored a goal there. You look at the influence Gasbia as well in midfield. Moyes number 10. I think we spoke about it in the first half that he was too far away from the goal. Check front three. I think his best quality is the final pass. La keeper konama winger or keeper kon striker. I think the coaches used him completely wrong in the first half. I think they changed it in the second half. I wanted to show you that element where he was a little bit close. I think that's when
closer to the box.
I
wanted to talk to you about Umtati because I'm not convinced so far. But if he did well today, what did you notice about him?
Nkulego, it's that winger that we produce in this country. Very dynamic. He's very pacey. He's good on the ball. His decision making in final third doesn't rush, which is something that impressed me. Because with these players, the most critical thing is it's one game against Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns. You do well. The next game you're off.
That's my concern.
That's your concern. And my biggest thing is I wanted to see decision making, because at this level, decision making matters. Some you find wingers that get into the box, but Lali cross even when the other players are not ready. With him, he waits for his midfielders to join the box. He waits for his striker to make a run, and he chooses the right option as well. I think he created about 3 or 4. I think he's very good in terms of work rate. I'm very impressed. That's why I'm saying I will praise him just half namhlanje Nkulego. Reason being is because I want to see a performance after the Kaizer Chiefs, because he's trying to buy a contract with that performance. But with what I've seen so far, an exceptional performance. He's the one who Pagamise Sandla, in my opinion. He played exceptionally well. I think the difference Nkulego, in my opinion, between the two players and the two squads is Umtutu. I think he's the one. If you look at the two teams on paper, I don't think you can say Golden Arrows can beat Chiefs, Chiefs can beat Golden Arrows. But I think the player that separates the two teams is Ututu Zisbia, in my opinion, in terms of intelligence, in terms of quality, in terms of...
in fact, he's a player who's supposed to be in the Golden Black. Or traditionally, if Chiefs is Chiefs, you would expect Nduduzo Sibia to be on Chiefs' side.
Nkulego, I didn't even know he's 30. I know maybe this might not happen because they could have signed him a long time ago, but it happens in the Bayama late signing, Nama late bloomers. I think for me, the best number 10 they can get in the league other than Umshishi, I think this guy is there.
He's not a late bloomer. It's the teams who are late to find him out, because Nduduzo Sibia has scored winning goals against Sundowns, against Pirates, against Chiefs since I was working at Soccer Laduma, actually, which was 6 or 7 years ago. So he's he's been around the block, so it's not something new. When he was 23 years old, he was doing the same thing. It is the teams that would be late. Let's look at Chiefs. You mentioned a bit about Umdu Shabalala. He looks like he's the one who's trying. He looks like he was injured today as well. They took him out. What does Chiefs look like to you? What are they looking like? What are they trying to do as you watch them in a football match?
Nkulego, this is the thing. They've got two profiles of how they want to play. They've got a build-up in their game, but as soon as they get to the progressive line, it's a long ball now. And for me, their model is completely contradicting the players that they have. It's contradicting the system even that they use. Because in football, system wins the game if you don't have the quality of the player. The system needs to. The system needs to make the players shine. And for me, the system is not making the players shine. Kaizer Chiefs. Because look at the second half substitution. Let's start first half with the profile. They use Upotan on the left. Bapete Utuba. They have Ushabalala, but he brings in a cross.
Also, Umfundo Vilakazi was one of the forwards as well.
But they bring in a cross. Umfundo receives the ball on the right-hand side. Ukata in brings in the cross as well. It already tells you with the system and the profile and the person
They're
is
looking
wrong.
to cross to a player who's short. And also they are outnumbered in that box because there's only 2 players, the Chiefs, and 4 players, the Arrows.
Nkulego, another thing to mention that is very important is control. They are lacking, Umtetwa is lacking a passing game. Yusuf Mart is lacking a passing game. The substitute that they bring on, which was a joke to me, I'm sorry to say this, they bring in Umpule Modi, they bring in Nkosimpilo Mngcobo. Those players are not going to change the game. Both those players are not, Abana passing game in them.
And the first sub was, just to supplement what you're saying,
Chivavaro.
It was Chivavaro and Frosler, which is to say that they wanted to cross to Chivavaro. Basically, there's no game plan. It's all about go wide, cross. Hopefully, our tall striker will score.
That's why I'm saying the system contradicts. They use Uplom, who played exceptionally well, bombs up and down, improve in terms of game, passing game. But now in the second half, we are frustrated. It's not his thing, Nabi. He gets frustrated that the box is not delivered as quick as he wants to in the box. He makes a decision to bring a new reinforcer because why he wants a quick cross in the box. He tries and brings in the cross. That's why he brought in a profile, striker like Uchivavaro, because the cross is what he needed. But for me, Umtu is the only one that tries Kaizer Chiefs, in my opinion. He's the only player Kaizer Chiefs that raises his hand. You're looking at the defensive structure as well. That's why I'm saying it contradicts. Because Umikel is not a ball-playing centre-back. Uditloko is not a ball-playing centre-back. Ukross is not a ball-playing left-back. Uplom is the only one that was giving them direction in terms of progressing the play. But Nanomingene centre. That's why I'm saying when you're watching Kaizer Chiefs now, it's a style that contradicts them.
I kind of was alerting you to this midweek, and I mentioned it. We always have to use this opportunity to say this. That if you don't control the game, then you will be sporadic. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose, sometimes you're going to draw. Just because you won against whoever they were playing against midweek, it does not mean, if you look at that game where they're in control, no, because their midfielders don't play football. Now, just because you win doesn't mean that you've turned the corner or suddenly you've become this big team again or your glory days are back. It's very important. Let's just stick to that idea of being able to control the ball, and how important is that?
Nkulego, there's 2 things that I think it's an educational moment for everybody in the period that we've been in the Betway Premiership, is that system wins games if you don't have the quality, and the fact that if you control a game, you've got a better chance of winning a football game.
It's a higher percentage.
The higher percentage, thank you very much. You have got a higher, it's a learning moment for everybody. If you look at the profile of midfielders and the profile of the team, it needs to at least get a hold of the game. You're looking at Umteto Nkulego. I spoke about it earlier. No matter how well he plays, he needs to give control to the team. He cannot all the time Lias will keep a one touch. Lias will keep a one touch. Yusuf Mat receives the ball, he decides to play a long ball. It's not settling. Kaizer Chiefs needs to settle in a game, Nkulego. They need to settle, move the ball around, control the game, demand and be in control. And Baboni said that they're a big club. Can they show hunger? Can they show willingness? Can they show precision as well?
Yeah. Let me wrap it up then. What does Chiefs look like to you? Like as not even the game itself, but maybe where they are, because if they had won today, just because of the lack of quality in our league, they actually would have been number 4 in the meantime until Skokune plays in a couple of hours' time, or even now. They're playing as we speak. They would have been number 4. But I think that's incidental, because I think Chiefs will win and they will lose and they will draw. Where are they going in relation to the coach that they have, and also in relation to the players that they might need as well? Because there's this perception that if they get a striker, maybe things will turn around. But you can't just get a striker if you don't have a proper way of playing, where you feed him consistent opportunities within the game as well. What's your perception of Chiefs as they are now? They look like they're a top 8 team to you. They look like a team that can be difficult even in the derby that's coming up.
Kolego, I heard your question perfectly, but I have to say this. For the first time, I'm going to say, fighting no one, fighting South African football. This guy's not going to help Chiefs. He's actually going to make Kaizer Chiefs worse, in my opinion. With the substitute that he made in the second half was living proof for me, the mentality of the coach. Now we tap into the coach. Forget the style of play, forget the structure, forget the model, forget the players that are going to sign, because we spoke about the system winning games. We spoke about the profile of players that they need. Everyone is speaking about the Apolis, the Pesadine, and so forth. But for me, the second half substitute told us the mentality of the coach, of how he thinks as a person. The game was 0-0. He got frustrated the fact that Uplom was playing and overplaying and keeping the ball and trying to get a hold of control of the game. He decides to introduce a player that can cross, and that already tells you about the profile of the team that he wants to build. And for me, that's not a Kaizer Chiefs that's going to be successful.
Yeah, it is a concern. Just linger on that as well. What do they do then if they find themselves with a coach? Because I think I wish that the management that runs the team had better wisdom.
Yeah.
In a sense that, what I mean by that is that...
Can I ask you a question, Kulek? From an operational level or strategic level?
So the people who were there, who we saw,
Yeah.
Kaizer Motaung Jr., Bobby Motaung, whoever it is that is in charge of the football operations, I wish they had this wisdom of knowing that even if we are winning, it doesn't look like we have the right coach here. Because I hear what you're saying, but my mind is thinking, okay, if they have a Nabi who's not going to take them anywhere, which is your summary, do they have a strong enough management to see that now and not see it only because they are number 10? Because it doesn't matter, you can win 100-0. If you are shit, you are shit.
It's not about results. We have to be clear. This thing is not about results.
Well, to people, it's about results, because some of them are betting addicts. You know, you're betting wins and then you are happy, right? You think that football is about winning 2-1. The way that the team plays, for me, gives me the impression that, and the management as well, their temperament is that they're going to win the next game and they think, okay, especially if they win the derby, they will think that they're on the right path.
My biggest worry, it's just, I'm sorry to use Kevin Hunt as an example. I really apologize. The worst thing that has ever happened to South African football, more especially with the other teams being not well, properly, not run, not structured, not having the right quality of players, and they won 4 leagues. This is the very same thing that's going to happen with Kaizer Chiefs. They might win a cup, Nkulego. They might win a certain games, but in my opinion, they are not moving in the right direction, because the system wins games, and the system in a long term, Kaizer, this is what Mamelodi Sundowns is doing. I'm sorry to bring them in. There's a reason why they are signing Jaden Adams, Cody Sang, Matthews. Succession plan. What is the system of how they want to win football games? What is the system of how they want to approach? That will help them to profile the players they need. That will help them to even profile the coach they want. So it's decision making that comes from the technical director needs to be questioned, which is Kaizer Motaung Jr. Because he is the one that brought in Miguel. He said personally he went to go and scout him in Angola. So the question should be, what is the model of how they want to work as a team?
And why would he need to scout him as opposed to your scouts? And someone who's in charge of the coaching as well. So thank you very much for that contribution. I think, it's going to be like this with Chiefs. They're going to win some games, lose some games, draw some games. Otherwise, well done to Golden Arrows. It wasn't a good game, actually. The good game was actually the Pirates game versus Belluizdad. It had 3 goals. There was something at stake as well. With this one, it's just 2 teams who are mid-table teams really playing in the Betway Premiership. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, also sweating.